mouse run across the bank floor when I was there, and I sat on the desk quickly. It's such a different culture, and so wonderful to really integrate and feel the similarities, but the differences. Never be afraid of the differences. If you have a small child and there's lot of brown pebbles on a path, and there's one white pebble, what does the child do? Tug at your hand and tug at your hand until he can go and pick up the one that's different. It's the way language develops. We wouldn't know that this is a table and this is a chair unless we could see differences. Differences are important, but they're also, it's a way that we recognize and see the person God made. What impressed us was the spiritual awareness of the people in India. In school, we studied our own Christian religion at this adolescent age, mainly through biography, because they're interested in relationships. They're ours on the telephone, aren't they? On the handy, do you call it, or mobile? What do you call it? Yeah, there you are. And also through meditation and contemplation at this age. In the first stage, we have been given stories of our religion, absorbed the ceremonies. In the second stage, then we also help the children to read by little models of whatever they use in their religious ceremonies and name them and put the labels against them. They learnt the names and match the labels. Consequently, they were able to recognize much. They were given religious instruction. At the second stage of development, from 7 to 12, they enjoyed taking an active part. Now, in England today, I don't know if it's so in America, it's usually the mother who takes the responsibility for the child's religion. I believe it should be the father for the boys, just as it was in the time of Jesus with Joseph. The religion of all the religions is passed on through the parent and the child, and I think it should be the father. The girl's brain is more easily used for pondering, and the boys for actions, and both for accepting the given meanings. From 12 years, it's natural to ask questions, to question your religion. This is making it an intellectually acceptable to your own uniqueness and so on. It's necessary for each person at that age to find out more and to make the religion intellectually their own through questioning. I believe that the person's real spirituality is aided in all subjects by the search for truth. The periods of quiet and meditation, particularly in the country and beneath the stars, are very, very valuable. Other countries in history can enhance their religious maturity. On school journeys, we went to France, to Belgium and to Holland. We read Anne Frank's diary and went to see her house. We read and heard from people about the last Great War by bringing in people to tell of their experiences, and heard from Jewish people about their experiences of the Nazi horror. As well as all this, how did we do all the subjects Montessori advocated? We had a very ordered environment, and the subjects and the materials were used in the usual Montessori way. Everyone studied at their own pace, repeating often and building on real understanding, and it worked so well. We asked our full community of parents and friends, everyone we could, to help us to make the materials to cover each key stage. You cannot do it alone. You have to be community. Some materials we felt very important for society at this age. We covered the law, both personal and international. We had material that taught how to appeal. We made materials to learn about human rights. I say we because I was learning all the time. We had imaginary incomes and learned to budget within them. It's great fun to cut out a job and the income from a newspaper and then to let the student budget for it, say whether they could buy a yacht or not, or budget on benefit payments and so on. I see a lot of the dispossessed people, disadvantaged, every week. They're wonderful people. They're so loving and beautiful. Many are drug addicts, many are alcoholics and killing themselves. They're the most happy funerals I've ever been to, because they all have drinks before they come. It's extraordinary. But they are... I've lost my thread. Wait a minute. Yes, we teach the children the way to budget, because I know my thread, the one common thing of all those people is they had no idea of how to really budget, the ones on benefit. You need to be terribly clever to manage, to feed your children, clothe them, have any kind of leisure that needs payment if you are on what we say benefit. What do you call it? Yeah. So that is a very important thing. We had these imaginary incomes. We kept very careful records of every age group, of every child. We knew exactly what every child had done and did. And we used to tick the record red if we knew that we should represent, green if it was normal, and blue if it was very superior anyway. So we kept these very careful records. Children got their own record book signed for each subject they went to, which said how long. They didn't have to stop at a bell and what work had been attempted. The teacher noted what new presentations were needed. We had a specialist Montessori teacher for each subject, and they had their different rooms at school. A benefactor presented us with a very fine laboratory, which we had class teaching in that. I am convinced that's why it worked. And that was because all our children were in Montessori from the beginning, so that they had self-discipline and enthusiasm for knowledge. We did incorporate other children, but it's so much easier if they come through. Montessori, throughout her research, found that the main stages develop particularly in sub-stages of 3 years. I personally feel that 12, 13, and 14 years is the ages when girls and boys should be separated, because the children need and there's a change in concentration and the need for work again at 15, 16, and 17. 12, 13, and 14 find it very difficult to concentrate as well. With the change in life today and the separation, I believe that sexual education should be taught separately. There's so much divorce today, and so many are divorced from a happily integrated body, mind, and soul. And with so-called sex education, they often concentrate on sex as if it's separate from relationships and body, mind, and spirit integrated. So I would teach boys and girls separately during that time. We now know how different is the development of their brain. This is a stage when if we can help the student to find out who really he or she really is, what they think about the world, what they believe.